We're live. We're live. I'm winging this today, folks. I'm absolutely winging it. I've had such a busy day, as a few of you will know. I've been away for the weekend, been to a wedding, so I missed the game. And what we've done, we've been in Dorset for the weekend, and we've flown up the motor. Well, not flown. We've driven up the motorway, and I've been in 2-3 minutes. So you're gonna have to excuse the lack of lights, the lack of a backdrop. I'll probably look better unlit, to be honest with you. And there we go. Anyway, so thank you for joining me. Now, the reason for doing this stream is to discuss what's gone on in Manchester City. I've caught up as best I can. I'll go into that in a minute. For those of you that are joining us for the first time, you are very, very welcome. For those of you that are regulars, and I'll recognise you all in the chat, I know who the regulars are. Here's how we do it on these shows. This is an opportunity for me to have a rant, which I'll do for 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes, who knows. And then we're going to get your comments, not just your questions, not about you asking me. This is an opportunity for you to vent, because not everything was rosy yesterday. So what I'm going to do now, I am going to go to the top of the chat, and I'm going to leave the comments at the top of the chat, and then I'm going to work down. So just please be aware that when I start looking at the chat, it will be from this point now. Otherwise it scrolls down, and I don't want to miss everybody that's got something to say. So anyway, having explained how the show will go, let me just tell you where I was. So we had a wedding yesterday. It was my friend's wedding, and lovely day. The wedding started at 3 o'clock. Went down to the wedding, and got down there because my mum lives down in Dorset, and got down at about 12 o'clock. And I only found out a couple of days ago that it was on at that the game was on at 12:30. So hello, this will give me a little opportunity to have a look at it. So one of a very nice fella on Twitter, a fellow West Ham fan, very kindly sorted me out with a way to watch it on my phone. It was brilliant. I mean, it was HD, and yeah, it was that big, but it was good. And I didn't get to see all of the game, I must say, but I got to see enough of it. Actually, before I carry on, if someone could just let me know in the chat if the audio's fine, if you can hear me, that sort of thing, that would be great. And then I will just crack on as I am. Hopefully, we shouldn't be having a delay tonight, because I've gone very low tech. I've not done the software. Thanks, Andy. Thanks, Charlie. Fantastic. Right, I'm going to go back up to the top of the chat now and leave it where it is. I've gone low tech for today because it looks nice, doesn't it? It does look nice, all the banners and everything, but I didn't have time to muck around. So here we are. So anyway, I watched the game on a very nice, high quality, and I've got to say a massive thank you to he knows who he is for helping me to watch it when I was out. And so the team came out. I guess I was slightly surprised to see Antonio there, and apart from that, it wasn't overly surprising. We knew Noble was not available through injury, and maybe the team might have been slightly different, but I don't think vastly. I think Pellegrini more or less would have gone with that. Now, I'm not going to go over the first team and everything, because you'll have watched all the videos by now. You'll have watched the game yourself. You know it all. It's a day later. This is really about my take on things 24 hours later, because I couldn't jump on and do any videos yesterday, and to see where you lot are with 24 hours to calm down, because I'm sure some people were fuming yesterday, and I can understand that as well. For me, there wasn't a surprise. I predicted a thrashing. I predict Manchester City will always thrash us, and I'll get on to speaking about City in just a second. So it was no surprise. But even though it's no surprise, it doesn't feel any better, does it? It's like a dagger in the heart every time they score an attack. Maybe things would have been different if we'd have got that penalty. Obviously, VAR was used. That was the first time, certainly seen it used in a West Ham game. And probably they didn't get an awful lot wrong. But as West Ham fan, you're biased. You're thinking, yeah, let's say they should have got the penalty there. Maybe things would have been different. Maybe they would have done. If we'd have gone 1-0 up, maybe it would have panned out differently. But it goes back to Pellegrini for me. And I'm not going to start digging him out over this result, because if you remember in the build-up to the last 3-4 weeks, whenever I've spoken about the team, I've always spoken about the team that we will put out when we play Brighton. And I've been very clear with my language because I knew we were going to get a pasting because for lots of different reasons, which I'll go into in a second, Manchester City are just light years ahead. So it's actually Brighton that's the key game. But having seen Brighton have won 3-0, you start worrying about that as well, don't you? But that's the West Ham fanism in us. We're pessimists, you know? Anyway, so Man City win, and they win at a canter, and they win 5-0. And I've got to say, they really do my head in, Manchester City. I'm a really bad loser. Bad loser. So I can't stand it. And there's only one thing worse than losing to Man City. That is losing to Man City, then getting told, "Oh, but you've got to admire them. Oh, but you've got to enjoy the football." No, I haven't actually, and I don't. I hate it. I can't stand it. I hate losing to them. I don't hate them like I hate Tottenham. You know, that's embedded and ingrained in your psyche to dislike your City rivals, if you like. So it's not that. But I am sick and tired of getting thrashed by Man City. And it sticks in the throat, the loving. You know, there's sort of a loving between West Ham fans and City fans. I'm not part of it. I don't feel part of it. I don't want to love them, you know. I don't want to. I said last season, it seems like we get thrashed by them every season. Then we roll over on our backs and have our tummies tickled by them, get patted on the head and told what a lovely little club we are. Well done, West Ham. You're good. And then they thrash us and they, you know, and I hate it. I wish we'd show more bite. Wish we'd snarl a bit more. I wish we wouldn't be so accommodating. Wish we'd lay out the red carpet for them. And I don't just mean that from the fans. I mean Pellegrini as well. I'm looking forward to seeing the team that he puts out. I'm looking forward to the way he wants to play. But not in these games, I don't think. I want him to... A Leopard's not going to change his spots, but I would want him to put out something a little more pragmatic, a little bit more defensive. Come on, Manuel. You know, just give us a chance, give us a fighting chance. I don't mean David Moyes. We don't need that many attacking players in the team, maybe, but that's different. I don't think he's going to change his spots. That's the manager we've got. And Manchester City got a very, very different manager. Manchester City got the best manager in the world. And you start looking for chinks in their armour. So last season it was, Fernandinho's, you know, getting on a bit. They're not going to be able to get anybody that can sit and break up play like him. Well, you know what they did? They just went and bought Atletico Madrid's best one at doing a job. No, they literally paid the full amount up front, bang, done. And they can afford to do that because they've got a country's oil wealth behind them. And if there are any Man City fans in the chat, why would they be? They're probably, you know, knocking back some drinks, enjoying themselves, looking forward to the next team they're going to thrash 5-0. But if they were watching, they'd probably think, as another bitter West Ham fan, or as a bitter... I am bitter. I am annoyed about it. I hate losing, as I said. And it sticks in my throat. And I just wonder if we're just a little bit too friendly, a little bit too accommodating towards them. And also, we are a little bit too kind to them. We suggest that Guardiola's playing a beautiful game. He's the custodian of the beautiful game. Well, actually, he's a bit dirty. And I understand it because one of my mates on WhatsApp today messaged me and he said, have you seen a Pellegrini's rant about Man City being dirty? And I hadn't, because I just not had time. I went to the wedding yesterday, woke up, bit of a hangover, took the kids down to the seaside and had some ice cream. And I haven't got time. I haven't got time to look at all the videos and all the rest of it and all of that. Sorry, 2 seconds. I know it's very, very unprofessional of me, but I don't want this stream to end early. My wife's just walked in. Love, will you bring in my charger for this laptop, please? Plug it in there, and then we can just pop it in the back, because I just realised it's in the kitchen. Thank you. I beg your pardon. There you go. We don't want to stream to stop early when we get to the juicy bits, which are all your comments. But I did find that they had systematically fouled. I looked at it and it wasn't ever quite enough to get a yellow card. but it was enough to stop the play and stop us attacking. Now, again, do I feel that Man City should just let us attack them? No, I don't. But I also don't feel if they're going to do that systematic fouling, I wouldn't really think twice about it if it was Chris Hughton team or a Pulis team or Big Sam or anything like that. You would expect it. I think what does annoy me, thank you, what does annoy me is us letting him do that and then saying that he just plays the beautiful game. Yes, he plays a beautiful game. He's got some attacking players, but he presses, he tackles, they're snarly, they're nasty, and he's switched on. He is a switched-on manager, and he can change his tactics in a way that our manager just can't. He said some telling comments as well, Guardiola. He said, he didn't know if it was a backhanded compliment or what, but he said, you can recognise a Pellegrini team a mile off. He's got a DNA for his team. He plays football in the way it should be played. And he said something like, almost if you didn't know that Pellegrini was the manager and you saw his team play, you'd look at it and you'd say, that's a Pellegrini team. Well, that's all very good and that's very nice. And I sort of understand what he's saying, but is that slightly detrimental? Is that a backhanded compliment? Is that damning him with faint praise? Does that mean, well, actually, he's going to go rushing out to attack and leave the back doors open, he's basically having a party on the front lawn and all the while the burglars are going in through the back door and nicking all his gear. I don't know. I don't know how much I want to get into Pellegrini's tactics. So I'll leave that up to you. But I found the whole Man City thing annoying. I hate the loving. I hate losing to him. Hate it. Anyway, that's that. What's Pellegrini going to do? Be very surprised if we get those same fullbacks in the next game. That was quite evident. That was quite clear, wasn't it? Have we got other options? Well, we do. We know we've got other options at fullback. Are they particularly the options we might want? No, but I would be surprised if he didn't change it around. The goal where De Bruyne played the final pass and whoever, maybe it was Sterling. I think it might possibly was Sterling. And he played it through Fabianski's legs. Found it quite an embarrassing goal, actually. It was hard to watch. I mean, I was around other people as well who were surprised that I was able to watch the game on my phone. One of my best mates is a Palace fan, so he was having a right old laugh at how bad we were. And when we were bad, there was and worst thing was, there was a Manchester City fan there, and there was a Liverpool fan. I thought, oh, crap, this is terrible. It was terrible football. But we won't be the last time that gets thrashed. We won't be the last team that gets thrashed by Man City. So maybe I've not even looked at the comments. I don't know. Maybe you might. I'll check down when I scroll down in a minute. You might be thinking that I'm overreacting, but I'm guessing that the same for the reason they're doing this video. If I didn't catch the game and the reaction yesterday and I'm sort of 24 hours behind, then there'll be other people here who are 24 hours behind. I think if I'm frustrated, there's going to be other people who are frustrated out there. Yes, I am mindful it's the first game of the season, and that's why I did want to say that I always knew we'd lose this and lose it comfortably and handsomely because they are that much better, not just than us, than everybody else. But I think I'd sort of clung to the hope that we'd score a goal, that we'd present some threat. There were things that were good, and that was, I thought Allaire was good. Lanzini, with a penalty one. I thought there were times when we attacked, particularly maybe the first half. There were times in the first half when it wasn't too bad. I think it was only 1-0, wasn't it, at half time? So, there's worse things, but it didn't feel good. And it wasn't a great way to start the season. That's that. Anyway, I'm gonna go on to the chat now. I'm interested. I might have missed stuff. I'm watching this thing on a phone, on a smartphone. I might have missed things. I've not watched Match of the Day. I watched a couple of the fan cams, that Gio did over on the main channel last night. I'm very drunk, in all honesty, so I can't remember them precisely. I watched my mate Danny talking about it. And I've had a few texts from John and Frankie and a few other people today who've given me their thoughts. So I'm not completely out of the loop. My old man was at the wedding as well, so we were sort of watching it together. But apart from that, I've been out of the loop in terms of feedback. Thank you very much. Social media and all the rest of it. Forum, you chat on here. I'm out. I'm out of the loop. So I'm going to jump to it now. Just a word on the comments. Obviously, this is live chat now. When you leave comments under the video that's already been recorded, I will always go through them, and I will always look to, if there's a question or there's something, I will reply or I'll give it a thumbs up. I do read every single one of them. It is worth checking back though, because sometimes I will reply if you haven't got the bell switched on. Where it says subscribe and there's a bell, you won't know that I've replied back to you. So I do reply to loads and loads of these messages, but I think sometimes people don't see I've replied, but I do. So it's always worth checking back if you haven't got the notification bell switched on anyway. So what have we got? I'm going to start with James Gunn, who is a regular. Hello, James. He says 2 in midfield is suicide against most teams with a half-decent midfield, let alone City. However, I'll reserve judgment until 5 games in. Considering the next 4 games, we should be getting 8 to 12 points. Well, we hope. We certainly do hope that that's the case, don't we? But I can't have been the only one that looked at that Brighton result and thought, that's not good. Having said that, as I understand it, they left it for the goals were actually quite late, weren't they? So I don't know. We'll see what happens there. But I do understand. What you're saying there, James. One thing that I did actually while you're saying that about the midfield, when I saw Fornals come on in the second half, and I'd like if anyone's got any information on Anderson or anything, I don't know. Let me know all the stuff in it. Fornals, he's gonna have to learn to get on the pace of that. Was it just me? Was I as he was in the yellow boots? When you're looking at things on small screen, you're looking for anything, no matter how small. I thought, he's gonna have to get used to the pace of the Premier League. It's faster than he is used to playing. That's for sure. James, Andy, DJ Blokey, Daniel, Charlie, Harry, Flight Time, good evening to everybody. Anthos, good evening to you. Vinay, you said you think Pellegrini should pick 2 strikers more often. Well, I don't think he should have done yesterday. That's for sure. But I do think he needs to mix his tactics up a bit, don't you? I'd like to have seen the new guy maybe feature at some point. I don't want Haller to be isolated that much. People are going to need to get close to him. Japal says he feels better after Chelsea losing 4-0. Did they? I don't know. I didn't know that. They were playing Manchester United, right? I thought they were 1-0 down. Well, clearly they were 1-0 down at some point. I didn't know that. 4-0. Tim Julian, are we allowed to question Pellegrini's tactics? You do what you want, mate. That's the forum channel. This is for you, Gary asked the other day, can we still send videos in? Please do. You send me videos in, I'll put them up on here. It's your channel. It's just people stop doing it, and they haven't gone up. But I mean, the more the merrier. And just send them in to me. Send them in. What is it? hammerschat@gmail.com or info@hammerschat.com. Whatever. But do hammerschat@gmail.com. You'll probably find it more user friendly. If you're going to start doing it regularly, we'll just do it on WhatsApp. I'll give you my number and we'll do it that way, and we'll pop them through, and that way I can sort of upload it almost straight away during the day. I've got a new plan on my phone with a lot of data, and you need it in this gig and this Hammers Chat gig. You need a lot of data when uploading these videos. Crazy, actually. I've got a new tariff. So, yes, send them through. I'll just upload it. What else have we got? So, yes, Tim, please do. If you feel you want to criticise Pellegrini's tactics, please do. You can't expect to lose 5-0 and not have your tactics questioned. And it's not just the 5-0, is it? It's years. Remember when Sam threw the players under the bus? Gio was talking about it recently when he's interviewed Matt Jarvis. We lost to Nottingham Forest. Do you remember that Nottingham Forest game? It was sandwiched in between some cup games against Man City. Did we lose 9-0 on aggregate? I think we might have. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if I am wrong, no one's going to turn around and go, oh, no, actually, Gonzo, we won 2-1 on aggregate. I'm not a lot wrong there. We got absolutely hammered. And then we got destroyed again and then destroyed again, and they keep doing it. I'd love to know the aggregate. If someone's interested enough to give me the aggregate scoreline of the last 10 games of West Ham v Manchester City, that I would like to see. The aggregate scoreline the last 10 games. It will be frightening. 25-2 or so. I mean, it's going to be nasty. Go on, someone work it out, please. Anyway, how do I feel about Cresswell being captain, says Harry. How do you feel about it, Harry? How do you feel about it? I guess I don't really feel that Cresswell's his first choice left back necessarily. I'm not saying Masuaku is, but I feel like Pellegrini is undecided as to who is his best left back. So if you're undecided whether that player is a mainstay in your team, can you name him captain? So captain, if you think the captain is important, bear in mind, it's not rugby, it's not cricket, where the captains are in those sports are making on-field tactical decisions. I mean, technically in cricket, the coach isn't even really allowed to, even though they do. They take drinks, breaks, and they get a sneaky message across. Captain also helps with picking a team in cricket, doesn't he? With the selectors and what he sits on the selectors panel. In rugby, the captain will decide whether to take a kick for a drop goal, or or a kick for a line out, or to actually kick for a line out and then go for a drive towards a try, or take, will you try and kick for 3 points? The captain decides that stuff. So if you think that the captain is important in football, then you've got to think that actually it's got to be one of the first names on the team sheet. There's no point Cresswell being captain if Cresswell is going to be pulled out of there in the next game and Masuaku is going to be put back in. Can Noble still be club captain? Well, I think Noble's a different dynamic because he's a club stalwart. He's been at West Ham for years and years and years, and club captain is very different to team captain. He is so important, I'd imagine, in a training ground, welcoming new players in and stuff like that. But actually, even Mark Noble, if Pellegrini's plan is this season to keep pulling him out of the starting lineup and using Wilshere or using somebody else, then we still need to rubber stamp who is going to be the on-field general in that team every game. He'll have 3 or 4 players that he will want to play and start in every game. So it's going to have to be one of those. That would be my opinion on Cresswell being captain. What else have we got? Well, Ben's just agreeing that Tim is more than welcome to have his views on Pellegrini. So I think Jappel he's not really a fan of Cresswell, it seems. Finn saying I shouldn't have bothered, must have ruined the wedding for you. He's basically saying maybe I shouldn't have tuned in. No, it didn't really ruin the wedding. I had a nice day. It's a friend I've known for years and years and years. And you've got, with this football, you've got to be able to step away. Things are more important in life. But I'll be honest with you, it did give me the right hump for a little bit. It did make me a little bit grumpy, to be fair. But it didn't ruin the day. But but then again, I've not made the effort to go, have I? It was easy for me. I just opened my phone. Someone else had even given me the app to watch it on and stuff like that. So I made no effort. If you've gone to the stadium or you've left work early half a day to go watch the game, then you're going to be far more annoyed than I was yesterday. But I think I'm more worried, a bit more concerned than annoyed at the manner of it. What have we got here? Rick Hammond, £10 says Gonzo got a hump with a result and started a fight at the reception. No, I didn't. But my mate was annoying me. With Crystal Palace fan, he was teasing me. I should take it in better spirits, really. I think, but and then he kept on saying, "Oh, was a Palace result come through yet?" And I was watching it because where they held the wedding, it's a very old friend of mine. And because I've stayed there before and stuff like that, I had his Wi-Fi code already in my phone. So I was the only one, but it's in the middle of nowhere, so there's no 4G or anything. So I was almost the only one with any stuff. So the updates were coming through, and he was saying, "What's the Palace?" And I could see it there, and it was Everton and Palace was 0-0. Oh, come on, normally I don't mind. For my mate, I would like Palace to, not to be relegated, but he was ribbing me and teasing me, saying, West Ham are bottom of the league, you're bottom. I thought, come on, Everton, pop one in. But we all get a bit competitive, don't we? And rightly so. So we should. What have I got here? So John Scarborough said we should have started Fornals. Now I am I am probably, how long we're talking? I'm probably 25 minutes behind on the chat now, and I'm going to work my way past it. So when he wrote that, he's not heard what I said about Fornals. I want to know what people think on that one. Tim Julian is the character of the team that's the problem. APK King says he wouldn't play Cresswell ever again. I mean, the flanks were a worry. It just seemed to constantly come from the flanks. Charlie highlighted this. Charlie said this. Who said that? Someone's just donated £5. Who's done that? I've seen it pop up. I'll get that. I can't see, but thank you. Whoever's done that, I'm gonna look at that when I scroll down to it. That's very, very, very kind. That's very kind. Thank you very much. But you don't have. Please don't feel you have to. You shouldn't. Please don't. I don't. It's fine. Honestly, it's please, but stop. But thank you. It's very nice. I appreciate that you tune in. I appreciate that you enjoy the shows, and that's good enough. That's good enough for me. What else have we got here? The heads really did drop after the second goal. It seemed so. Tim's saying that. It did seem like the heads dropped on there. You want a little bit more character. I do wonder with that. How's he going to... What's training going to be like this week? How's he going to cajole them? How's he going to build them up again? It's a hell of a job, I think, convincing people that have played that badly or lost that badly, let's say, because some people will feel that we perhaps played okay in patches, and I think we did, to convince them that they can go on and win the next game. I'm going to that. I'm going to do you a nice report on that one. I'm going to try and get as much footage as I can without getting kicked out. Do you a nice report from the ground as well. It's a nice little ground, Brighton. Tim Junior said, I thought their third goal was offside. Possibly not. I mean, VAR there. Let's be fair. With the VAR, had it gone slightly different, that could have been 6-1 to Man City. So I'm not sure there was a massive swing in difference there. What did surprise me was the way I saw it with the VAR, that it wasn't given for Fabianski coming off his line with both feet. I thought it was for Declan Rice encroaching. And I've not seen Gary Neville going through it or anything like that. But immediately he encroached again on the second one. That Declan Rice did the same thing. Well, that's clearly something we've got to go into. Gonzo, do you hate some of our fans that bumlick City all the time? I can't stand them. They completely destroy us and then tickle our tummies and expect us to love them for it. I don't know if you wrote that before I went on my little City rant, but probably that covers it up. I don't hate our fans. I do understand. Not just with fans, with people. It takes different characters. Everyone's got a different character, and it would be boring. It'd be boring. You get 10 people in an office at work, you're going to have all different characters in there. I am not a fan of the City loving, as for the reasons that I said. I find it patronising and condescending. City have got to realise something. City have got to realise they are not the plucky underdog anymore. Manchester City are a superpower using a nation's oil wealth to buy players. It's not just players. If you look at the amount of land they bought around the Manchester City Stadium, acres, they've spent billions. I mean, they have spent a ton of it. Have a look. Seriously, you don't know. Go and have a look on Google on the satellite, the Earth one. Look at how much land and how many pitches. They are, we are talking global domination here. What they are, they cannot. The City fans want to be, cheeky chappy and everyone's favourite second team. No, you're not. You're not plucky underdogs anymore. City, they done good. They stuck with, the fans stuck with it when they were in the old second division. Yes, all of that is very true. But the days of Sean Gota are long, long gone. They are basically Paris Saint-Germain. You're the same thing. You're the same thing now. That's I don't view them any differently. I really don't. I really don't. In fact, I probably don't view them that differently to Man United, because actually Man United's success seems 4 or 5 years ago now. Anyway, they're a super club. They're a massive super club. Do I look on them? Am I a bit bitter? Yes. Do I look on them with a slight tinge of envy? Yes. But I think, particularly with all that foul in that, they're good enough not to cheat. They're already cheated in the way that the way that the sponsorship works and stuff like that, the way that they manage to filter money through separate companies that, it's all come from Abu Dhabi, basically. But, no, this is the sponsor and this, they're already financial doping, really. You know, they need to foul on the, probably not on the pitch, probably not. So they get on my nerves. They get on my, anyway. James, you've lured me in there. I've already spoken about that. Naughty boy. James says he wasn't too mad. This is James Starr. As they're way above us in quality, we kick on against Brighton. I think we'll smash them and stop them being one of our bogey teams. I hope we smash them. We have to. I'm taking my son. You know, we're looking to have a nice day. We're going to have a lovely day out. And I do like Brighton as a club because they do a lovely beer, a lovely golden beer, which again, they use the local companies, the local brewery. They do lovely pies there. They use the local farms to do the pies. And, you know, if you like your vegan stuff, they got all that covered. If you like your meat, that all comes from local farms and responsibly sourced. Tasty, good. I want to eat their pie, drink their lovely ale, praise them for their cuisine, and then I want to thrash them nasty. You know, big star. I want a 5-0 against them. It's going to be hard, though. It's going to be hard. But yes, you are right, James. We go again. We do go again. We have to. We have to. And not read too much into it. But I am just reacting. Victor, hello, Ray. Big hello. Massive hello to all of you. Ben Davis says Spectre has retired from football today. Didn't know that. That is news to me, Ben. And Victor says we play better away at Man City. Well, that remains to be seen, doesn't it, for this season? Certainly. A little argument between people in the chat. Then I won't go too far into that. Andos says he's not happy. Load of rubbish. Yesterday was hoping that Man U would score another 2 so we wouldn't be lost in the league. I like it. You're absolutely right, mate. You're absolutely right. Why didn't Pellegrini match Man City's physicality? I don't think we got it. And as I say, I'm going to work my way through it. The chat. I'm way back on the chat. I was worried. Fornals, I know he's gifted. He's got the technique, the dummies, the drop of the shoulder, on off he goes. I was worried. He seemed, as soon as I saw him, he got bullied. Next time I saw him, got bullied again. Next time he got dispossessed. I saw him chase the ball. I thought, crikey, he's slow. I don't know what's happening with Anderson. I've not got to that point. I asked you a lot earlier, so hopefully you've told me. Tim says Pellegrini's tactics are all wrong. Charlie says the thing that he didn't like, most of the tactical fouls and lack of bookings. 13 fouls, most deliberate. You're absolutely right. Here's the issue. Here's the problem here with that. It's all very well having this VAR. And I'm undecided. I don't know whether it's good. I'd be really interested if it was at the game. How did that affect your enjoyment of the game? I guess I'll find out, won't I, next Saturday? It's all very well having that, but it seems to be for the big stuff. But you've got all this little stuff, all this persistent fouling going on under the radar. And you just sort of wonder if there was a way that someone turns to the referee. Was it Mike Dean? It might have been Mike Dean. If someone is able to turn to the referee and say, you know, come on, ref, look at this is ridiculous. The moment one of our guys beats one of their guys in midfield and goes past them, they just pull us down. And that annoys me. And I see no difference between that and diving. And I am not suggesting West Ham players holding it now. You should have seen. You go back to when Masuaku spat. You go and watch me there. I went right at him. Not a problem. If one of us dives, I'll call it. I absolutely will. But the equivalent would be somebody having a team diving 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times a game. That's the equivalent. They are cheated that often. They don't need to. They're good enough not to. But this is my point. You can't cheat and then financially dope and then dominate everyone and crush everyone and then expect to be treated as the cheeky, chappy, plucky underdog, everyone's best friend. Nah, I've had enough. I've had enough of Man City. I'd had enough last season if you watch the channel. Tim says he reckons he would have been closer if Allardyce was there. Maybe we would have been relegated by now if Allardyce there. I know, yes, Allardyce never taken anyone down, but I'm glad he's not. I am not for a moment saying that I'd rather Allardyce than Pellegrini because it is just one game. And I think Pellegrini, up until recently, was probably just under that elite group. If the elite group of managers is a 5-star manager, I think Pellegrini was a 4-star manager, certainly. But it does seem to me that there are a bunch of new coaches coming through. And you'll all be thinking of different ones in your head now as I say that. There's a bunch of new coaches coming through in the game who like to play the pressing game, who have got this change of tactics, a dynamic way of playing. And there's a renaissance. There's a new feel about the game. And to be fair, I do feel the game needed an infusion of new coaches. The game is progressing. The game is moving on, and it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. VAR was slow yesterday, says Kent Hammer. He didn't know what was going on at half time. What happened in the ground? Did they show it on screen? Because obviously when I'm watching it on me feed, which is obviously a feed taken from something or other, obviously I'm just seeing what the television wants you to see. And you could always see controversial incidents on telly. Are they doing it like the cricket or the tennis? Are they putting it up there? Can you see the offside on the screen? Be interested to know that. Pellegrini said we were too nice and need to make more fouls like City. Well, if Pellegrini thought that, Victor, maybe he needs to tell his team to do that. But has he got? Where's his thug? I don't know if I've said this before. Two of my favourite non-West Ham players were actually Roy Keane and Tony Adams. I just nasty pieces of work, really. But leaders, real leaders. And what I used to see them, I used to love it. They'd have a go at everyone else and tell them where to stand. I remember Roy Keane screaming at Phil Neville, stand there, you know, and literally he went over to him, he did something wrong, started poking his finger in his chest, literally grabbed him by the shirt and dragged him, and then was pointing, say, you stand there. And I sort of, you know, I think every team needs a bit of that. Declan Rice may well turn out to be that character, but I think it's very hard for a 19, 20-year-old to start grabbing a 30-year-old by the shirt and saying, oh, you stand there. Anyway. Hello, Len. Hello, that's a Len. You put it. It just says I too. Pellegrini's clueless at the back, says Antos. 3 at the back. He wants 3 at the back. Would that help us? Sometimes you have to change something. But let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater after one game. Let's use this as a cleansing experience. Let's get our frustrations out. And if after 5 or 6 games this is still happening, then we will, I'm sure, be having a very different conversation. I'll just have a swig of my tea. Excuse me. I'm going to cover the mic. I don't want you to hear the slur. Thank you. Excuse me. On we go. Give us a wave, Len, says Tim. I'm sure he did. Weren't violent. This is what says beat on the Donis. Is that what it says? Beat on the Donis 47. Manchester City weren't violent, but they were cynical. Well, you're absolutely right. I think they were cynical. They were systematical and clever enough to know that violence gets you a card. So they would be borderline. And it's if you ever watch Barcelona play, of course, you ever watch play, or even Real Madrid, you ever seen Alves play, or Busquets, or Pepe, or Sergio Ramos? All right, Ramos has had a ton of cards, hasn't he? Marcelo. You look at these players. Yes, they're wonderfully gifted, world-class players, but they're little. Yeah, they are. They know the darker arts of the game. Len says, I'm nearly done with it all, Gonzo. Yesterday was unpleasant for me. Oh, it's hard, man. It's hard to go and make that journey and jump on the train and you know, first game of the season. It is gutting. It really is gutting. I hope you all enjoyed the rest of your day afterwards and managed to go out and do something different, or drown your sorrows, or just do something different. Go out, forget football, go to take the missus to the cinema. Excuse me, do whatever you've got to do. But it's not, excuse me, it's not nice. James Gunn says, we can't play 2 in midfield and then expect to dominate the midfield. Games are 1 in the middle. Unfortunately for us, ours is one of the worst in the league. Do we need this athlete? I thought for a while we maybe needed an athlete in the middle. But he's got his identity. He's got his way of playing, Pellegrini. Can't see him changing. De Pablo Says they always foul when they lose the ball. They certainly do, mate. Rodri should have been booked, says Ben Davis. John Slater says Pellegrini needs to be taken to task. No plan B, no defensive idea. Adapt the team to opposition. First half, we were in competition, so why take Antonio off? I mean, they're good points. They're good points, John. And hello, mate. Hope you're well. Who does take Pellegrini to task? And would it be right to take him to task? So who's going to take him to task? Sullivan. Sullivan's the guy to take him to task. I think Sullivan would be wrong after the first game to say, "Oi, what's going on here?" So you wait and you see what happens. And if we win our next 3 games, then Sullivan forgets about City and allows, and we all forget about City until we play them next, and then it's the same. It's the same again. Let's see how we are. I don't know all the other results, but I think Southampton would like to think their manager's good. I think Southampton lost to Burnley. Am I right there? I think possibly they did. So we are not the only team to underperform. Everton would have really fancied themselves to beat Crystal Palace. I don't even think, well, I know that. My mate was telling me they didn't even start Zaha, Crystal Palace. So Everton will feel that they didn't do as well as they should have done. If somebody said in the chat earlier, Chelsea lost 4-0. They certainly. So we're not the only ones who have not been as good as we thought we might have been, but we are the only ones that lost 5-0, which is why we are bottom of the league. Mikeson says 4-4-2. Allaire and Chicharito together bring the best out of both of them. All right, you're right, but we still got 2 in midfield in that point, and I think you'd still see exactly the same thing happen. Let me scroll down a bit more. Matt Ritchie. He says, mate, I agree with the bit a bit. I've almost shut myself off from football today and Twitter for the last 24 hours. Like when you ignore the semi-final. He's basically saying, Matt, I understand, mate. It's hard. I always know when I'm doing this, hold on, if I'm thinking something, there must be someone else out there feeling the same way. And we must have all been gutted. It would be lovely to watch that game and think, oh, well, on to the next game, on we go. We knew it was going to, it still feels crap. Really crap, doesn't it? Ian Wilkins said we just not turn up. They ran us ragged. By the second half, we looked so tired. Did we look tired? We did look tired. We did look tired. Why do we look tired? We shouldn't look tired, should we? James, he's just replying to Mike there with the 4-4-2. It's hope that kills, says Matt. Matt's still feeling it. He said he shut himself away earlier, didn't he? Yeah. Maybe it's the expectancy that killed. The hope. I don't think I did hope. I knew we'd lose. I think I just expected better. Maybe the expectancy killed. What have we got? Tank the Killer has just typed Liverpool. Why would you type Liverpool? Why would you come on to a West Ham stream in my live chat and type Liverpool? We're not talking about Liverpool. We don't care about Liverpool. We're talking about West Ham, Man City. When I said earlier everyone was welcome? You're not welcome if you're going to come in here and type Liverpool. Apart from that, you're all welcome. We lack a powerful midfielder that can get around the midfield. You're right, Victor. Stephen Spraggs, Cockney Hammer, bowling badges. Hello, mate. Onwards and upwards, he says. Let's hope so, my friend. James Fever says Wilshere was a weak point, was he? Need a solid defensive midfielder next to Rice, which sort of feeds into what we're discussing. Rice can't do it. Oh, was Wilshere good? No, he was brought off. I hoped it wasn't injured. As I say, it's very hard when you're watching and you've got glasses, and it was hard. It was hard. Maybe I should have the laser surgery. Seems frightening. I'm a bit of a coward for that. I think I'm just going to each year gradually get thicker and thicker glasses. I bought my beer glasses by the time I finished. Other than 2 great saves on 74 minutes, it would have been 2-1. You're right. Seaside Hammer. I was down the seaside today. You are right. Whereabouts in the seaside are you? Gary, who's a regular in the chat, I saw him. He said in the chat the other day he's on holiday in Jamaica. Reading this, or watching one of our things, sat by the pool, cocktail with an umbrella in his hand. Hula, that's Hawaii, isn't it? Whatever. Very nice. I do love the Caribbean. It's been a long time since I was there, has to be said. Finn says Chelsea getting smashed made him feel a bit better. Charlie thinks maybe a 4-3-1-2 or a 4-1-2-1-2. But I doubt that Pellegrini would change. He seems a bit rigid, doesn't he? But if you remember at Man City, he wasn't afraid to play two up front. But maybe he had the players, in which case, why has he not addressed that here? I don't want to get too critical of him, apart from in the game. It's the Man City game. He deserves any criticism for what he did in the game, I feel. But I don't want a massive analysis, a season-long analysis. Yeah, I don't think that's... anyway, but yes, you say what you want. I'm just saying what I don't want to do. Second half collapse was so us, says Matt. Yeah, probably was, mate. And James is saying... oh, sorry, he's actually replying. James Gunn's replying to James Fever. Sorry, that got very confusing. Two James speaking to each. That's how black holes are born. You create a vortex. Two Jameses speaking to each other. Matthew Evans says we can still play attacking football without our centre mids getting ahead of the ball or our fullbacks bombing on. It's all about having the right balance and staying compact and plugging the gaps. I never feel that we're a unit, Matthew. Never feel that we're a unit. I used to say when George Graham had the famous back four, 1-0 to the Arsenal, all the rest of it. Pick your back four, but Lee Dixon, Tony Adams, Steve Bold, or Martin Keown, whoever was there, Nigel Winterburn. They always said it's like they had a rope between them, almost like they had a 5-metre rope between each of them. So as a four, can I do that? That's not very tactical, is it? They would move, the space in between them would stay the same. Where's Charlie and Gio and their tactics board when you need it? I don't ever feel that West Ham are that. I don't feel that we have a shape that keeps its shape regardless of where we're positioned on the field of play. Field of play? Is that American? Does that sound like an NFL geezer then? I think I might have done. You will not reach the top 6, that's for sure. Oh, thank you. That's Tank the Killer again. Thank you, Tank. I think I preferred your other one, which just said Liverpool. You just come in a troll. Tank the Killer. Tank the Killer. Not much of a killer, really, is he? Just sort of says some mildly annoying stuff in the chat. I don't care. You're lucky Charlie's not in the chat. He'd ban you. Bang, you'd be gone. Out. Anyway, whatever you type next, I'm not reading out. Starve you of oxygen. Jason, he said from the start of the transfer window that defensive midfield was important. Fornals wasn't needed. Did we need an attacking midfielder? That was from Jason. No shots on a goal in the first half. That's right. Was there overhead one from Allaire? But there wasn't a lot of threat, was there? There wasn't a lot of threat. But you had the double one, which was... Who had the first shot? I think Lanzini had the second shot. It was Chicharito. It wasn't really a shot, though. He just tried to... His chest or his thigh or something. He just tried to direct it. Just try to direct it up there. Oh, shut up, Tank. Shut up. I've had enough, mate. It's my bloody stream. Do one. A DJ Blokey, regular DJ Blokey's worried about Pellegrini's player selections and subs. Matt Ritchie's worried about Brighton. He's even worried about his first trip to the London Stadium against Norwich. Your first trip, is it, Matt? Okay, we're down the boats. We're there for that game. Come down the boats. You've watched enough of our videos, mate, so please do pop along. Be lovely to see you, mate. You know, there are loads of different ways to get in touch with us. They're all listed actually in the description to the video below. Everyone says that. Look in the description below, but there is a reason. It's full of, you can contact us here, and here's our Twitter, here's our forum, here's our email, and it is useful to get in touch with us. Come down, mate. Come down. Come and have a beer. Yeah. Norwich looked all right. Obviously, that I saw because that was on the Friday night before I went down this weekend. Seaside Hammer says referees are too kind to them. You're not wrong. The players aren't the biggest problem. It's the way they are organised, which is the main issue. We're not set up properly out of possession. We're not, are we? We're not set up properly out of possession, actually. We need to... We have a an occasional press, if you like. It's not all the time. You feel like City, they press all the time. Liverpool, crikey, all the time. Bang, 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 bang. We occasionally press. Don't yes or no. You either do it or you don't. But as somebody mentioned earlier, maybe that we look knackered anyway. Maybe that occasional press was too much. Marcus, Archie, Brighton score prediction. We will do that in the week when we have we'll do it Thursday on the main channel, 8:30 probably. We will do our Brighton preview. Myself, Gio, and one other. You'll get it. Well, you'll get it then. I need to have a think about it, to be fair, anyway. So, yeah, we'll discuss it then. Jason, Pellegrini needs to sort out, or it's going to be another crap season. Here's the point. I'm glad you said that, because it's reminded me of something I meant to say at the start. You start these videos thinking, I'm going to say this, this, and this, and you forget your power cable, and then you forget what you were going to say. Nothing's changed expectation for me. I expected mid-table. I thought we'd sneak into the top 10, the top half, and was really just looking to have a cup run. So I don't think it constitutes a crap season. I don't necessarily think we're definitely going to have a crap season. I really don't. I think there's a lot to look forward to. I think there's some good football to look forward to. But there are some areas of concern. And what's the alternative? We lose 5-0 and don't talk about it. We don't analyse it. We don't look. We don't notice. We pretend that it hasn't happened. No. And it's not just a loss of 5-0. Of course, we're fans. We're going to look at why we've lost 5-0 and say, well, hold on, that player perhaps didn't do well there, and this tactic wasn't quite right. So that's what we're doing. We're looking at it. But I'm not sure it constitutes, Jason, another crap season, mate. Tim, why did you never give me a reply about betting sponsors in football? Tim, I don't know, mate. I don't know. I didn't read anything about that. It depends where you contact us. If you contact us, Hammers Chat on Twitter, I've got to be honest with you, mate, I haven't logged in for about 2 years, so I don't even read the direct messages in there. If it was on the Hammers Chat at Gmail, I probably should read it more if I do, but it's not tough. I don't feel sorry for me, but when you do that, you get a lot of direct messages and stuff like that on the just everywhere. And we've had a bit of problem with our forum. Spam. We've had some spam on the forum, so basically we've had to bolt the doors on the forum. So every time I log in to the forum, I've got so many accounts to activate and stuff like that. So and DM. So if you probably haven't contacted me on there recently, then I probably wouldn't have seen it. But honestly, I'll have a look. If you send me Gonzo at Hammers Chat. No, Gonzo Hammers Chat at gmail.com. Gonzo Hammers Chat at gmail.com. Contact me on there. I'll have a look at what it was, mate. So yes, sorry, we certainly weren't ignoring you. Never ignore anyone, mate. Never ignore anyone on there. That's for sure. Seaside Hammer says they're coached to foul rather than tackle. I thought I said tickle for a minute. Rather than tackle by Pep. It's well known. Yeah, fair enough. I guess it is fair enough. But, you can be annoyed about it, can't you? It can annoy you. It does frustrating to watch. That's what annoys me about it. But, yeah, I said it at the start. I'll say it again. It's people that say, "Oh, but you've got to admire City. You've got to love the way they play." No, I don't. I don't have to. No, actually, it annoys me the way they play. I'd say you've got to be frustrated. I wouldn't tell you how to feel watching City play, but I do not want to be told to enjoy it, because I don't enjoy it. I hate it. I hate watching anyone beat West Ham. Okay, people are starting to give their Brighton predictions. I will leave you. I'll leave you to it on that one. I'll tank you, honestly. You're pathetic, mate. Honestly, pathetic. Coming over here trolling. I'm not even reading it out, mate. Not even reading it out. The most disappointing was the second half collapse. I thought we played well first half, but our heads seemed to go down at 2-0. Very depressed Hammer. That's from Roger Gerlin. Roger, I hope you perked yourself up, mate. It's not nice, is it, mate? It's not nice. I like this. Alex Simic. I hope I've said that right, Alex. Do you think we will get a positive goal difference by the end of the month? That's a good question. That is a good question. No, I don't. Start a month with a 5-goal deficit. we might not have got a positive goal difference by the end of the month if we were still on evens, if we were starting off scratch, let's say. Victor thinks we'll beat Brighton. More WHU said the ref was rather kind to City. I felt Lanzini was hacked to bits at times yesterday and nothing came of it. The 5th goal was a foul on Haller. Can't argue with that, can you? Well said. Rodri's petty fouls, and he was never carded, which annoyed Andy Walsh. Drum Geese says he just doesn't think Pellegrini's up to the job. Alec Ward, how do I say that? Velthuis? Excuse me if I've butchered your name there. Gonzo, can I do a live stream with you guys soon? You're more than welcome. People are... you can... The easiest way for you to get involved on any of this is to get your phone out. Make sure you got it the right way around. So, it's in selfie mode, as they call it. Film, where's my... Actually, I always keep my phone away so it doesn't interfere. Film yourself, even if it's just 30 seconds. Film yourself. Have a rant. Send it in to us. I'll pop it up. I'll upload it. I would call it fan rants. We used to call it out your shout. I would call it fan rants, but then it's almost like I'm encouraging people to rant. I'm not. You can say you'd be pleased, you'd be happy if you want. What I don't want to ever do on this channel is start dictating what people should think. But you're very welcome to get involved. Very, very welcome to get involved, mate. As I say, loads of ways to. I've already told you various ways to get involved, or how to contact us. In the information section below, you can see what you need. Anderson said he had a minor injury, but it's not that serious. Thank you. That's from Marcus. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you for telling me that. I did ask earlier, didn't I? Great recruitment, but poor tactics. I'm going to start flying for a few now. Anderson and Wilshire are both fit for next week. Nice pinball machine. Thank you, mate. It's my pride and joy. Fire it up. It's going to beep. Wait. It's fine. I'll leave it there. Am I back to front? Is it back to front on the screen? Anyway, there we go. It looks back to front on my screen. But thank you. I love my pinball machine. I'm a bit pinball mad, actually. What have we got here? Absolutely bang on. He can't understand how anyone could be happy with losing 5-0 to any team. However, I'd take a thrashing twice a season if we picked up points against the other 10 teams around the stats. Fair enough, isn't it? Absolutely fair enough. And we all expected to be thrashed. Fornals was awful. Antonio should never gone off. A Jetty wasn't in the squad. Thank you, Kent. That's the stuff I needed to hear because I didn't know. Why show so much confidence in Masuaku, then play Cresswell and give him the captaincy? Subbing Antonio was wrong. Well, everyone's saying subbing Antonio was wrong. That's from DJ Blokey. Great point, by the way. He really was bigging up Cresswell, wasn't he? I like this. Keith Pimer. If we were playing any other teams in the first half, we'd have been 2-0 up. I agree. I think it's so important to remember that. And I'm speaking to myself as much as anyone else here. It's so hard because it's annoyed. You get annoyed and you get sucked into the doom and gloom and the misery. I think you're right. I want to see us play teams not as good as Manchester City. But having seen Brighton, I didn't see Brighton, did I? But having seen Norwich, and I do worry, and as I understand it, Tottenham were close to losing as well. So Villa played all right. There do seem to be teams playing with a load of vibrancy. So, I do worry when we face these other teams, certainly. Francis says Pellegrini has one way of playing since he joined us, no plan B. When it works, great. When it doesn't, he seems clueless. I think that's right, isn't it? Let's be fair. I think he's got one way of playing. Oh, shut up, Tank. For goodness sake, why does he keep popping up? We need to learn to cross as well. How can you have a striker in a box that won the most aerial duels in the Bundesliga last season and not get a cross on his head? James Gunn, well said. Bring back Moyes, Jason, very funny. Confidence is battered now after City. Brighton is a must not lose. No, James, we mustn't think like that. Brighton, we win, Brighton. We mustn't go in there with damage limitation. We've got to... Pellegrini should be doing Pellegrini's job, not just putting 11 players on the pitch, is to give them the confidence to go out there. It's got a week to lift their confidence. How much does David Carragher's punditry annoy you on a scale of 1 to 10? Haven't heard it, Michael. So I guess if you're just generally asking, I tend not to see any. I watch the games and then, in all honesty, we jump on and do a video. So I guess we've got, you know, I bet everyone does. I bet if you're an Arsenal fan, I bet you watch the Arsenal games on telly and then jump on and you watch Arsenal fan TV. I bet every fan's the same. I bet you go and jump straight onto your social media, not worry what Shearer's saying or Carragher's saying about your team. It's the way it's going. It's all changed, isn't it? It's all changed. It's all social media now. It's all YouTube. It's all this sort of stuff, really. Long gone are the days of scratching around on CFAX, waiting for your club's page to come up to see a page worth of news and not having anything else, then hoping when you bought the newspaper next day that there was something about West Ham in it. Those days are well gone. Corky says we were great for the first 20 minutes, but couldn't seem to press in the second half, and we rolled over. It really was 6-0. That goal was unfairly chalked off. I agree with that. It ain't the manager. It's the players, says Michael. Jamie Betts says he thinks all our new boys will come good. He can't wait. He can't wait for the players to bed in, basically. P.S. Can my two little boys, says hello, can I have a wave? Boys, I don't know their names. I wave. I'm conscious. I don't want to wave like Dele Alli. But hello, boys. The Betts boys. That's what we call them. Jamie Betts' boys. Hello, boys. What are you still doing up? I guess it depends how old. I don't know how old you are. I don't know nothing. To be fair, Jamie Betts might be 50 and his two boys might be 25, in which case I'm sorry to tell you to go to bed, boys. But if you're 4 and 5, you should be in bed, I think. 9:30, should be in bed. Fabianski was at fault for the last 2 goals. Alex Ward, Twitter, please, mate. At Gonzo Big Nose. I guess you could try on Instagram. I haven't even opened the thing up for about 3 months. I don't even know why I created the account. Oh, yeah, I did. I got annoyed with Twitter, and but I've got a filter on Twitter, all that other stuff. I don't like all the politics, all the other stuff that go. And all the hate. It's the hate. Everyone hates each other. Not everyone. There's actually some really nice people on Twitter. And a lot of them are in here, and I recognise them, but it's so hard to filter out. The trouble is with it is you sort of follow people because they follow West Ham, so you follow them on Twitter because you think, oh, it's a West Ham fan, but you don't just get West Ham. And I don't mean like their holiday stuff. That's all fine. That's great. Recently we had somebody that was, a follower on Twitter and on here, and he was going around Devon, and then every day he was in Devon posting another picture. Oh, I'm here. Oh, that was nice. I like that. But unfortunately, you don't just get the West Ham stuff. You get all the political stuff as well, and it's just hard. It's hard because the one thing we've got in common is West Ham fans, but we don't necessarily have anything else in common, any of us. So, so I think I've got a little bit annoyed with Twitter. And I opened the Instagram account, but I'm not very good at updating stuff. So, yes, Alec, that's how you contact me, mate. 22. It's 22-1. Do you remember earlier I asked what the aggregate of the last 10 games against Man City was? It's 22-1. In the last 10 games, Manchester City scored 22 goals against us, and we've scored 1. Thank you to James. Thank you to Mathus for working it out, chaps. I think. But thank you for taking the time. In fact, both Jameses have worked that out. MM as well. Thank you, James. Gonzo, last 5 times we played City at home. At home, oh, that's interesting. So the last 5 games at home is also 22-1. 22-1. Yeah, as Mathers has said that as well. It's a pasting. It's absolute tonking, right? And Doz says he remembers the days pre-oil when we used to beat City. I hope you're not. I hope I haven't dragged you down with all this talk. I'm meant to feel a bit better. We're all meant to feel a bit better together. Like a detox, if you like. So I got rid of all the toxins, but then that geezer keeps popping up in the chat, little digs, and it's like a lice, like a tick. It's like a tick latching on. Anyway, where are we? Moyes only lost by 1 goal in those stats. Yes, he did, John, but let's be fair. It was terrible to watch. We need Noble back, but our tactics are wrong for the modern teams that we're coming up against. That's from Drama. This is what I'm saying. These modern managers, they've got these not new ways of playing. You still got to kick a ball around the pitch, haven't you? But there's pressing, there's dynamism, there's lots of there's changeability. There's some good young managers coming through, good young coaches. All we can focus on is have to get the best out of our players. If Wilshere plays, he has to sit alongside Rice and not get ahead of the ball. The fullbacks need to stay at home too, says Matthew. Kent Hammer says Fornals was awful yesterday. Antonio should never have come off. Well, I mean, we'll see the 6th, 7th player to say that, person to say that in the chat. DJ Blokey says we need to give Ella the service. Crossing was abysmal. This is right. People keep making this point, and it's right. No point having that big bloke in the middle if you're not going to cross the ball accurately to him. Which brings me on to something else. Frederick's delivery is no good. Needs to sort it out. He needs to be, I don't care. I don't know how many. But after training, the coaches should be out there with him. I want him crossing 300-400 balls after training. Just cross, repetition. I mean, literally. You don't come, mate, you're getting thousands, tens of thousands of pounds a week. You're going to have to stay an extra hour and cross some balls until you get it right. Every day. Then in 6 months' time, we might see an improvement. It's got to be done. And I'm not just digging him out. It's just he hadn't really been mentioned, but Cresswell had a number of times. Sorry, just laughing at Matt Ritchie there. Moyes saved West Ham. We were third from bottom when he took over, but it was awful. It was awful to watch. And I would prefer to watch this. And we cannot base everything on Man City. Look, we will have a look after a few games. I'm not saying everything is rosy. It's crap after that game. Okay, I'm coming to the end. I'm coming to the end now. I think I'm coming to the end anyway. I think I am. This chat is it's a real funny thing to work for. I'm sorry. I think I've missed some. I think I've missed some. It's scrolled right down to the bottom. But Edwards Webster says Brighton will be no pushover. Barbara says West Ham need to prove to us fans things have changed. Can only be done on the pitch, really. It can only be done on the pitch. But we have to hope that we're not so weak at fullback that we're not saying within a few games, why didn't Pellegrini strengthen, or why didn't Huselos strengthen, or why didn't Sullivan give the money to strengthen at fullback? Martin Sheridan said Tank is a right banker. Yes, he is, sir. Yes, he is. Gonzo, do you think there's a better manager for us than Pellegrini? Who would you choose? Oh, what state would a team? Okay, here's the problem with replacing Pellegrini. Is the team is very much for his style. So anybody that comes in, and I don't know who that guy is. I don't want to overly talk about it because I don't want to almost have a conversation about replacing Pellegrini really after one game. But what you would find with somebody that came in and come straight in and say, why have you got 4 number 10s? You got Lanzini, you got Fornals, you got Jack Wilshere, and you got Felipe Anderson. Why is there? Why have you got so many of this type of player? And yes, they might not all be number 10s, but you understand what I'm saying. Of that ilk, silky players, low centre of gravity, tricksy passers. I think you just look and that's completely unbalanced. So my suspicion is that Pellegrini wants more of those players in the team than others might. I'll come and say, hold on, where's your ball winner? Where's your athlete? Where's your guy that's drive? Where's your guy where's your, not Lampard, but that the job Lampard used to do, or David Platt or whoever. Where's your guy that runs beyond the striker to score the goals? And I think you may well find that actually it's not a particularly useful squad for another manager to come in. You may find there was actually quite a lot of work needed doing before that happened. Before that would happen. Ben Davis says Patrio 2 CFX. Ben Davis knows. Danny thinks Murray's going to score a hat-trick against us. No, boy, we want to worry about it. Is that Lone Jones loving the cave, Gonzo? But those of you, Danny, you must all know I'm building a man cave. I have updated it, but it's not really West Ham, so I haven't updated it on this channel. I just put it on my useless little channel, which I don't really upload on it, but just my Gonzo channel. I put cave updates on there because it's not really about West Ham. But I'm looking forward to it. So I'm thanking. I'm obviously you're keeping abreast of it. I do update it on my Twitter as well. Can't wait to get in there, really. Got the telly. This is one of the chairs. Got 2 chairs. And these are 4. These go to man cave. Pinball goes in the man cave. The young gentleman who's helped me out on my television for the feeds, for the football and all the rest of it. So I've got that going in there as well. So it's all good. It's all good. Missing Ben Johnson. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. I don't know. I think he's changing both fullbacks in the next game. You have to watch that performance, and you'd have to think so. Edwards said, "What must Cresswell do in training for Pellegrini to pick him? His defending was awful against City." You understand what he's saying? He's saying Cresswell must be absolutely fantastic in training to get selected. Jeffrey, thank you, my friends. My pride and joy, really. James says Ben Johnson is not ready. Olive not there, but is he talking about that? It is olive oil. There's an olive oil feature. Maybe not on the thing. Yeah, there's a. You see at the top, olive oil's there. Hold on, where's my finger going? There. Olive oil's there. Don't worry about that, mate. They're all there. If the olive is there, people are getting worried. Olive is there. It's a big thing. You've got to. That is the final of the game when you get all the multi balls. You've got to save olive from Bluto. You see? There you go. Hopefully that clears it up. Right, what are we doing? We're 3 points off the Champions League spot, says Christopher Simpson. Quite right. Oh, blimey, this thing's scrolling. It's scrolling like a mad thing. Popeye loves spinach. Yes, he does. Snoddy Robert wants to see Snodgrass in. Adam Smith, who I've not seen in the chat so far, so I want to read this out. We probably had the best result in comparison with our direct rivals for Wolves compared to their expected results. We got no points from an expected no points. I take what he's saying there. I totally agree with that. I do think Everton would have fancied themselves to have beaten Palace and things like that. Christopher Simpson, I've just seen him in the chat for the first time. I said, so we're 3 points off a Champions League spot and the fans are moaning. Unbelievable. I like his sense of humour. Mark Weir, hello Mark. He says, do you think City domination is killing football? As when you played for as basically saying when we played Manchester United in their heyday, we felt we still had a chance. I like that question a lot. I think it's terrible. Yes, well, not only did we feel like we had a chance, we did actually beat Manchester United. The money is obscene. Excuse me. The money's obscene. And it's what they can pay in wages, not just what they can pay for a training ground. It's everything. It's the best manager. It's the best assistant manager. It's the best physio. It's the best training ground. It's the best players on the most money. And when that's run out, more oil keeps getting pumped out of the ground and put into barrels and then being monetized, and then it becomes a football player. It's sad. And I hope, because I actually think we're in for a good Premier League this season. But you have to watch out, because there are a number of leagues across Europe where the same team wins again and again and again. And I think it's unhealthy. And I say this, and I understand that Liverpool are not a popular team. I understand this. But I said last season actually it would have been healthier for the league if Liverpool had won the league, because it would have stopped some back-to-back. Ideally, West Ham win the league. If they don't, then I want a different team to win each season because it keeps the league healthy. Leicester was a wonderful, wonderful thing that happened to the league. City win it 3 years in a row. You're looking at Juventus, you're looking at PSG, you're looking at the Premier League becoming something like that. The reason the Premier League was different, as Mark is alluding to, is that any team could beat another team on their day. So Burnley could beat the champions and things like that. Well, actually, that may not be the case anymore. So yes, I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree more. I'm sorry if I've missed some messages. It just every so often it scrolls. It just does a massive thing, but I'm trying my best. To include everybody, which is really what it's all about. Morgan says more and more sides will stuff us this season with the attacking mentality. I said we are. I said we're going to get thrashed this season, but we'll also administer a few thrashings. Matthew, I'll give an opposite side to the argument, because that's the whole point. We're not here just to endorse one person's opinion or what I say goes or anything. If you disagree, please, you're very welcome. Matthew Evans says City's domination isn't ruining football at all. Pep will be gone soon, which will bring them back into the pack. Plus, it's up to others to do better, like those chasing. Federer, Djokovic, Nadal, in tennis terms, he's talking about. He may well be right. I think I tell you what, I think you're half right. I think you're right about the Pep thing. I think once he's gone, and it does show he doesn't stick around for a long time. I think it will come back, because they will not. It doesn't matter who they get. They were not going to get a manager as good as him. The other bit about it's up to the others to be better. I think all things being equal, I think yes, but they are. Even Abramovich ran out of money, didn't he? Let's be fair. His gas, as I understand it, he had to give all his gas companies back to Putin. So he was left with 22 billion. Oh, poor Roman. Yes, we would all love to be as skint as Roman Abramovich. Then he left his wife. His wife left him. He gave her half the money. So for 11 billion, of course. Again, poor Roman. How does he cope? Eh? He's not wondering whether he can buy the finest bacon at Lidl's, is he? No. But actually, probably don't eat. Actually, I'm going to stop it. He don't eat bacon, does he? No, doesn't matter. Anyway, the point is that he's not got an endless supply. He actually does have a supply, and he probably cherishes his yachts and his jets more than he does Chelsea. And he can't keep bunging billion upon billion upon billion into Chelsea. So basically, he's got to a point where Chelsea said you're going to have to be self-sustaining. So actually, they can't keep up, and everybody else is just doesn't. Man United are saddled with debt. They spent big, didn't they? 150 million, but they're saddled with debt. So actually, it's up to others to catch City. Well, they can't. They can't, because naturally you can't just do it through normal football revenue. Because City, can get. I don't care. Abu Dhabi Fish and Chips have just sponsored them for 400 million. Abu Dhabi Airlines, another 600 million. They can do what they want to manipulate those figures to make it look like they're getting more sponsorship. It's not an even playing field. So that's where I would disagree with you there, Matthew. Matt Ritchie. Yeah, this is the pinball machine in my lounge. It's not in the cave yet. The cave is not finished. Is it still in Pellegrini we trust? The manager who's planning to pay the Premiership with 3/5? No. This whole Pellegrini we trust thing. I don't think you've heard me say it. I don't think I've ever said it. I really don't. But I understand others say it. My argument is, well, hold on. If you've said in Pellegrini we trust, when we were going for Maxi Gomez, for instance, I think I said it then. Everyone said, "Oh, hold on." I said I didn't want Gomez. Everyone said, "Oh, but in Pellegrini we trust." You've got to trust Pellegrini, Gonzo. You've got to trust Pellegrini. And then a lot of the same people went and said, "Hold on, why aren't we getting a left back?" And I was saying, "Hold on a second. I thought we were meant to be trusted in Pellegrini." It was more of a sarcastic answer to it. I don't just trust Pellegrini. I like I like the ethos. I like the style of football. I do. I like the shackles off. I like being entertained. That's what I like about Pellegrini. But I'm a realist. I have never for a moment suggested Pellegrini's taking us into the top 6 or doing anything. I think we're going to have some really good days out at London Stadium. I think we might have a few decent away days. I think we're going to score some goals. We're going to have some wonderful screamers and some overhead kicks and pirouettes and this, that, and the other. I think we'll have some wonderful entertainment. But I have never trusted that Pellegrini would get us into the top 6. And I don't even trust that he was. I hope that he gives us a cup run. I worry that actually when we play in that cup that nothing has been learned. And actually plays Chicharito up front and Robert Snodgrass and plays a completely different team. So, but I am a realist and I know that we can't get Guardiola or whoever it may be. We're not going to get these guys. Pochettino's not going to come to West Ham. The next one of those guys, you've got to get them early. So I was talking about Arteta. Arteta may well be the next big manager. He's not had a job yet. But West Ham won't get him on his second job. You've got to get him on his first job. By the time he's got his second job, he ain't coming to West Ham. He's going to a Champions League club as their manager. So you get one chance to get these guys. Which I guess answers my question from earlier. Harry Bradley says Ben Johnson should get a run in the team. What else have we got? People like the pinball machine. That's nice. Thank you. Pep would hate to come. I'm not reading that. Not reading that. AJV Ruiz in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, Ben, listen, we'll have a chat about that another time, mate. I'd try and keep it on the West Ham for this one, but it's all about the money, isn't it? It's all about money. Eddie Hearn line in his pockets. That's it, really. Was it better for the new players to play in a game with positive tactics rather than play their first game with everyone sitting behind the ball? Says Motters. You decide, mate. I don't know. I do understand what you're saying, but I do think confidence has been well and truly dented there. I'm going to try and wrap it up now, folks. Golf Pro, who is now friends with me on Xbox. I hope we're going to get together for a game of Red Dead soon, my friends. Send me a message on Xbox. So not too bothered about yesterday. Others will get the same hiding we got. We still have plenty of quality and excited for the rest of the season. Good. City and Liverpool were miles ahead. It would be miles ahead again. Josie said on Sky Sports that Man City's second team could finish in the top 4. Yes, that is true. That is true, Joan. Hello there, Joan. Crikey's going quick again. Chelsea won't finish in the top 6. They looked poor in defence and not clinical. I'm going to watch that later. That must be on soon. I'm going to wrap this up. I want to watch Match of Day 2. Alair looks class. Can't wait to see him get some decent chances. Tank the Killer, he's just a scratch record, just annoying little leech, mate. Anyway, Gonzo, we never get a box-to-box manager. We either get defensive under Moyes or attacking under Pellegrini. Welcome to West Ham. That's from Morgan Evans. Can't disagree with that, can we? Metal Corey 95, regular contributor to the chat. I had asked a question on a cup of tea recently about whether Pellegrini can coach our defence to get consistent clean sheets. You guys said no, but you don't mind because we play attacking ball. Yeah, that would be a correct summary of what we said. Yes, I think he's a terrible defensive coach, but at the moment, I'll take it. I think we will win enough and win enough excitingly to to see us okay until we can afford that next manager. I also don't feel that our owners have the sufficient foresight to highlight the next up and coming manager. Anyway, my next question is, why can't we do both, play attacking football and still be solid at the back? Well, there we go. That's a good question. Because I think those managers are those managers called Klopp and people like that. We don't have a chance of getting them. Gary, glad you're enjoying your time on holiday, my friends. And right, so Jones, since the Premier League started, there have been 50 plus teams playing the top flight. We are 10th in points tally overall. Pretty good, you are. But I think we also, somebody said we got the worst. Nobody in the history of the Premier League has worst Worst results on their starting fixture? That might have been it, Joan. Gonzo, do you think there's a better manager for us than Pellegrini? Who would you choose? And what state will the team be in when we change for him? Hopefully I've covered that, Ruben. I don't want to put his head on the chopping block. I just want to talk about, City. But I do think there is a breed of manager up and coming. I'm not sure Pellegrini's going to be with us for 4 or 5 years. But I'm mindful that if we go and thump Brighton, we all look very silly for even questioning him. So I don't particularly want to do so. Matthew Evans said 10th is about right for where we should be realistic expect to finish. I agree. I think I predicted 9th, but 10th, 11th wouldn't surprise me. William Smith, hello, this. With too many showboaters and not enough grafters, says Mark Wilson. James Fever says Pellegrini is the man. No one else available. Plus, he gets attacking style. Just bring a defensive coach for that area. I don't think they do. We saw it with Slav. Slav had a good team, but one thing Slav was being told was to bring in a new fitness coach. But he was so loyal to the guy that was there, he just didn't bother. Actually, now the fitness coach retired, so he's actually got a new fitness coach by default at West Brom. He's gonna be loyal. Pellegrini's gonna be loyal to his staff. I just can't see it happening. I don't know. I'm being asked if I like rainforests by Lisbeth. I do like rainforests. Very much so. Very much so. In fact, I've marched through 3 of them. Not marched. Crawled, mostly mangroves, actually. Slowly. We did a walk to save loads of to raise loads of money. I do like the rainforest. Anyway, what are we doing? First team to get the flip flops on, and the last to take them off. That says Barbara. I'm gonna finish. I'm gonna finish now. Do I think match of the day will ever become redundant? I'll tell you what, Ben. I've got a video coming up quite soon, actually, about social media, about the media, and it sounds boring, doesn't it, actually? But it's about the West Ham media, about how the West Ham media, how we get our news about West Ham has now completely changed, and about probably how the club is going to need to move on and deal with that. I think there will always be a match of the day, but less people are going to watch it in the same way that I don't know if people are going to watch this video, but I mean, Hammers Chat videos this week in our combined thing, we'll have 20,000-30,000 views this week, something like that. And others will have more. West Ham Fan TV will have more than that. But still we are treated as outcasts, as I said before. So the other things are shrinking. Newspapers are shrinking. All these things are going. So yeah, I mean, more people will be watching things on their phone that are not match of the day. More people getting. Everyone's doing things differently now. Barbara, thank you very much. I'm going to leave it there because I think it's time. I think it's time. It's not, I don't know what time match day 2's on. I want to get a cup of tea before it comes on. Thank you for everybody for joining in as well. I really appreciate it. I love it. I love it. I'm really happy. And the more we do this, the longer we do this, I get to know so many of you. That's why I know that Gary's been on holiday and all the rest of it. And I know, I get to know so many of you on here, and I'm very, very pleased to see you. And thank you for joining in. Thank you for being a part of it. I sound like Gwyneth Paltrow. I'll be back in a day or 2. You'd be sick of the sight of me. Yeah, be good, everybody. I'm going to end the stream now. Comments below, as I said, I'll answer them. Do check back in a day or 2 to see if I have replied. Because if you haven't clicked the notification bell, then you won't know that I've replied to you on this. Come and join us on the forum, hammerschat.com. And aside from that, hope you all have a lovely week. We'll catch up in a week. Videos to come. Switch notifications on. You'll still have videos coming on. Lots on the main channel. We've got cups of tea. We've got Premier League previews. We've got Brighton preview. Loads of stuff. Loads and loads of stuff. Right. Enjoy match of the day 2 if you're watching it. And I will catch up with you all very, very soon. Thanks again.